Always keep practicing interviews, specifically those questions which make you uncomfortable. Next, assume that the important person whom you are with knows something very useful which you don't know. Next, never ever believe any prediction that does not empower you. Next, don't do anything for anyone which they can do for themselves. Next, make a bet with someone mean. It's healthy, rewarding, and fun. Next, call people by their name. It's the most precious word which they want to hear. Next, never put all your eggs in the same basket. Means take calculated risks. Next, by revealing your secrets, you are giving someone else the power to control you. Next, spend some time with the people who are nothing like you to learn something new. Next, a good conversation is just like a miniskirt, short enough to retain interest, long enough to cover the topic. Next, change is inevitable. Either you react to it or participate in it. Next, money allows you to be more of who you really are. Next, writing down the problems on the paper gets your head clear and problem solved. Next, no one just can think rich and grow rich, be it rich dad or poor dad. Everyone needs massive action. Next, commitment 100% is more easy than 98% commitment. Next, the best way to make your life more interesting is to add new challenges. Next, receive without pride, let go without attachment. Next, if you wish to improve, be content to appear stupid or clueless in external matters. Don't wish to seem knowledgeable, because great souls are made in silence. No. Next, know why you do what you do and do it for the right reason. Next, do at least one thing every day that scares the shit out of you. Next, you always have what it takes to defy the odds. Next, before you assume, try this crazy thing. Ask. Next, see things for what they are. Do what you can. Endure and bear what you must. What blocked the path now is the path. What once impeded the action advances the action. The obstacle is the way. Next, you will never rise above the opinion of yourself. Next, if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. Done is far better than perfect. Next, most answers reveal themselves through doing, not thinking. Next, if you don't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Next, your success will always be measured by the quality and quantity of service you render, and money is a yardstick for measuring the service. Next, whenever you talk with others, use lots of open-ended questions. They are your most valuable creative tools. Next, an attractive man is non-needy and less invested. Next, prepare for the unknown by studying how others in the past have coped up with the unforeseeable and the unpredictable. Next, strong desire brings strong results, just as a small amount of fire makes a small amount of heat. Next, the happiest people do not necessarily have the best of everything, they just make the most of everything that comes along the way. Next, concentrated thoughts produce desired results. Next, don't be very abstract in your dealings, for you would see by going to the forest that straight trees are cut down while crooked trees are left standing. Next, once you feel avoided by someone, never disturb them again. Next, people will help you only when you let them understand how they can. Next, don't practice until you can't get it right. Practice until you can't get it wrong. Next, anything that makes you weak physically, intellectually, spiritually, reject it as a poison. Next, the person whom you do not want to see in the long term, maintain a distance with them. Next, any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through repetition of thought. Next, it's better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not. Next, I can't tell you how much times I don't feel like training and I tell myself I'll do just one set and see what I feel. Somehow I almost always end up doing the whole workout. Just start, do a little, and see what happens. Next, after all, everyone's favorite subject is themselves. Next, when you change who you are, the world will shift to make ensure that who you are is true. You evolve yourself, and as you evolve yourself, whatever resonates with you comes to you. Next, the DNA of success is routine. Next, build the foundation. They are the building blocks. Next, if you chase two rabbits, you will catch neither. Next, be like a postage stamp. Stick to one thing until you get there. Next, extraordinary results are directly determined by how narrow you can make your focus. Next, when you think about success, shoot for the moon. The moon is easily reachable if you prioritize everything and put all your energy into accomplishing the most important thing. Next, success demands singleness of purpose. Next, the thing which you are at most don't always scream the loudest. Next, a to-do list becomes a success list when you prioritize it. Next, when you see someone who has a lot of knowledge, they learned it over time. When you see someone who has a lot of skills, they developed it over time. When you someone when you see someone who has done a lot, they accomplished it over time. The key is over time. Success is built sequentially. It's one thing at a time in the form of a routine or a habit. Next, success is actually a short race, a sprint fueled by discipline, just long enough for a habit to kick in and take over. Next, you can become successful with less discipline than you think. For one simple reason, success is about doing the right thing, not about doing everything right. Next, super successful people aren't superhuman at all. They've just used selected discipline to develop a few significant habits, one at a time over time. Next, willpower is like a gas in your car. Next, you are what you eat. Next, when our willpower runs out, we all revert to our default setting. This keys begs the question, what is my default setting? Next, don't fight your willpower. Build your days around how it works and let it do its part to build your life. Willpower may not be an will call, but when you are using it for the first, what matters most, you can always count on it. Next, to achieve extraordinary results, you must choose what matters most and give it all the time it demands. This requires getting extremely out of balance in relation to all other work issues. Next, what you build today will either empower or restrict you tomorrow. Next, people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the only ones who do. Next, be careful how you interpret the world. It is like that. Your perception is your reality. Next, answers come from question, and the quality of answer is directly determined by the quality of question. Ask the wrong question, get the wrong answer. Ask the right question, get the right answer. Ask the most powerful question possible, and the answer can be life altering. Next, all woulda, coulda, shoulda, all run away and hid from one little did. Next, success is simple. Do what's right the right way at the right time. Next, people do not decide their future. They basically decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. Next, life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Next, who am I and where I want to go? Determine what I do and what I accomplish. Next, planning is bringing the future into the present so that you can do something about it now. Perfect planning prevents poor performance. Next, the farther away a reward is in the future, the smaller the immediate motivation to achieve it. Next, productivity isn't about being a workhorse, keeping busy, or burning the midnight oil. It's more about priorities, planning, and fiercely protecting your time. Next, efficiency is doing the right thing. Effectiveness is doing no one who ever gave his best regretted it. Next, the part to mastering something is the combination of not only doing the best you can do at it, but also doing it the best it can be done. Next, highly successful people are clear about the roles in the event of their life. Next, the single most important difference between the amateurs and the three group of elite performers is that the future elite performers seek out teachers and mentors and engage in supervised training where the amateur rarely engage in similar type of practice. Next, the four thieves of productivity are the inability to say no, fear of chaos, poor health habits, environment doesn't support your goals. Next, if a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, of what then is an empty desk a sign? Next, high achievement and extraordinary results require big energy. The trick is to be learning how to get it and keep it. Think of yourself as the amazing biological machine you are and consider the energy plan for high productivity. Next, when you clear the path to success, that's when you consistently get there. Next, only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far they can go. Next, a life worth living might be measured in many ways, but the one way that stands above all others is living a life with no regrets. Life is too short up to pile up woulda, coulda, and shouldas. Next, we don't live up to our potential because we don't have the habit to living up to our potential. Next, the secret to feeling great about yourself is not to be found in searching for the people who are less than you and then show yourself superior to them, but in searching for the people who are more than you and then showing yourselves worthy of their company. Next, every opportunity is attached to a person. Opportunities do not flow like clouds in the sky, they are attached to people. If you are looking for an opportunity, including one that has a financial payoff, you are actually looking for a person. Next, success in the end erases all the mistakes along the way. Next, faith is to believe what you do not see yet. The reward for this faith is to see what you believe. Next, the greatest success stories were created by people who recognized the problem and turned it into an opportunity. Next, you don't pay the price to success, you enjoy the price for success. Next, the quality of our lives depend upon the quality of decision we make. We literally make millions of decisions that add up to the consequences that is our life. Next, every search begins with beginner's luck, and every search ends with the victor being severely tested. Next, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Next, we do not stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Next, acquiring the useful knowledge and implementing it to make positive changes in the life is the true basis of real learning. Next, age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it does not matter. Next, the opportunity to secure ourselves against defeat lies in our hand, but the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. Next, speak only when your words are worthy of being heard. Next, healing begins when the perpetrator acknowledges his wrongdoings. Next, You can discover more about a person in an hour of play than in a year of conversation. Next, if you are not doing as well as you hoped, perhaps it's because you don't know the rules of the game or the rules of the game are changed. Next, if you don't even know where you are going, how will you ever know when you get there? Next, the funny thing about regret is that it's better to regret something you have done than regret something you haven't done. Next, to be concentrated means to keep your awareness on one thing at an extended period of time. Next, success breeds success, which breeds more success, and so on. Feeling successful makes you reach for further success, however you define it. Next, where there is a system, there is very specific game with very specific rules, and therefore you can find a formula to win. The game will teach you so many life lessons, and if and only if you choose to play and win. Next, people are like that. They can either nourish you and help you grow, or they can stunt your growth and make you wilt and die. Next, alpha tend to be the males who exhibit the best genetic characteristics and behavioral skills that put them at the top of the potential breeding pool. Next, failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. Next, I can bear any pain as long as it has meaning. Next, paths are made by walking. Thank you for listening to My Knowledge Toolbox Part 1, and please do watch Part 2 also.